I don't. So I'm like the worst person with dates and time frames. I thought that that was before the curtain call. I could be wrong. I don't. Um, I don't. To be honest, I don't remember. It's
It
funny that people
was
sometimes look at that match and that that that
December
whole thing. I'm
95.
almost positive that was before the curtain call, but that whole scenario with me and Henry Godwin came based off of somebody else. Henry was a heel, and he was um, putting slop on people, and guys didn't want to do it, and they didn't want to take it. And I went to Vince and was like, "And you turn him babyface, I'll take that slop all day long. If nobody would want to get slop on them less, more than me. That nobody would want to not get that more than me. My character, right, the snob. I wouldn't want to get that. I wouldn't even want to get in the ring with this guy." And Vince was like, "Oh, that's great." So he did. He turned Henry kind of like babyface through this thing, and I didn't want to go in the ring after him and all that. And man, we did that flop match all over the country every night, ruined more of my gear than anything. But it was awesome. I loved it. And the idea to me when they first threw the pigpen match at me was like, I thought it was phenomenal. Like as a snob heel, what better thing could happen than you have to get thrown in a pen with pigs with pig poop and all that stuff? Like it was phenomenal. And I loved it. I could have done without maybe quite as much poop in the pen. Those pigs were big and they'd been in there all day. So it was quite a significant amount in there. And also right before we went to go in there, the farmer guy told me, just keep your fingers tucked underneath, because the pigs kind of sometimes they get a bit nasty and they'll bite and they'll take your finger clean off. And I was like, thank you, that's good advice. I will remember that when I'm in there with them. And of course, Henry thought it was funny to rile them all up once I was in the mud and plus I got a big cut on my back on the fence, which didn't bode well considering there was lots of poop in there. So there was some downside to it, but I loved that match, and it was one of the things. Like, I think that's one of those matches that as a performer, it was kind of one of the first things that I got to do here that was really like kind of memorable. People still talk about that match to this day to me, and will bring it up, and that's. And when you can still talk about some of those, 95 or something, right? Like, so 95, 96, you start talking about that, you're still talking about that to this day. Like, that's pretty awesome. I loved it, man. I thought it was great. I joke around character wise about, but it was awesome. Yeah. And what was fun too is just like, so there's a moment in time where, you got to understand, if you're in that arena too, like people could smell that pig poop. Oh, like, I mean, it's the place, right? And it's pig poop, and the stuff is everywhere. And, like I'm in there and they're all laughing at me. And then at the end, I'm falling all over the place and throwing poop everywhere, and it's getting on people and they're freaking out. Like, it was so much fun. Like, I had so much fun in that match. Henry Godwin was one of my favorite opponents in that time frame. I had more fun with him doing that slop match all over the country. We used to do that match everywhere. And to the point where people started not the hog pen match, but the slop match, where I got the slop and lost the match, and he'd bring this 2 big buckets of slop with him to the ring. We did that match. I mean, we did the whole loop, like Europe, all over the U.S. And people, like, this was pre-big internet, right, stuff, but people started bringing like big plastic sheets with them in the front row and stuff like that, because they knew, like, it was like going to a Gallagher concert. You knew you were going to get the slop all over you, as I was going to throw it everywhere, and you were going to get a mess. So they started bringing the drop cloths and all the stuff. So it was, man, we had a blast.